how Puerto Rican you are.
Yeah, he's crazy, bro. That's why I told him I'll smack him when I see him, and he better have security, cause he is disrespectful. Like he's just old. Like he's just so disrespectful, and we don't come from that cloth. You know what I'm saying? We never got disrespected by nobody, especially a person that. Like we looked up to this dude, you know, he's Mexican, but we looked up to him. He's a legend in the sport. For him to come and try to trash our event.
Edgar Berlanga, I have a huge surprise for you July 12th. I'm going in for William Cepeda, but you know what? I cannot wait to see you. You say you're gonna slap me? I dare you.
Edgar Berlanga has finally given Oscar De La Hoya the surprise he promised after they met and created a very wild scene just before Berlanga's next fight. Edgar Berlanga and Oscar De La Hoya crossed paths shortly before the July 12th fight, as fighters, promoters, and some others met for some media work and a meeting.
Cool, he got a hate relationship with Canelo, but keep that on that side. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta jump rope on my and come on my side. Like you was just trying to sign me a year ago. You know what I'm saying? A year and a half ago, you was just on my you feel me? On my doo-doo. You was on my doo-doo for like 5 hours trying to sign me, you know? But shout out to
Oscar, who came for his fighter William Cepeda, quickly ignored his fighter and went after Berlanga, claiming he was there for the surprise. As he spoke, Berlanga spoke back and walked up to him, but the security pulled them apart, and Berlanga was heard saying, "I'll break you in many pieces. I'll smash your bones, fool."
All right, Edgar, we wish you all the best of luck. Edgar Berlanga.
And I want to say something too. Oscar De La Hoya too. He's always, he keep talking and talking. We're gonna smack him when we see him. You gotta stop. He trying to up the event.
All right.
Following a months-long back and forth with the Puerto Rican super middleweight, De La Hoya has taken things up a notch for the undefeated 168-pounder just a few hours ago. Ahead of his July 12th showdown with British contender Hamza Shiraz, Oscar De La Hoya has reignited tensions with Edgar Berlanga, issuing what can only be described as a challenge, bordering on a threat. Just hours ago, De La Hoya took to Instagram, sharing a clip accompanied by a pointed caption. Celebrating Golden Boy's recent success on July 28th, he wrote, "After the most gratifying night in Golden Boy history, we have 4 new stars. Edgar Berlanga. I have a huge surprise for you after all the shti you've been talking about for a year. LMAO. Please wear all the jewelry you own. I look forward to you trying to slap me like you've been promising." Moreover, the video itself didn't disappoint.
Edgar Berlanga, you stopped your press conference yesterday to mention my name. You said you're gonna slap me when you see me next. Why? Because I asked to see your Puerto Rican birth certificate? Because you're not really Puerto Rican? I'm asking because when I fought Trinidad, he had the entire island travel to Las Vegas to support him. Or are you upset because I said you're a subpar opponent for Canelo?
Lighting a cigar, De La Hoya looked directly into the camera and said, "Edgar Berlanga, I have a huge surprise for you on July 12th. I'm going for William Cepeda. But you know what? I cannot wait to see you. You say you're going to slap me? I dare you." The sharp tone and personal jab made it clear that De La Hoya hadn't forgotten Berlanga's remarks from nearly a year ago, bringing their beef into the spotlight just days ahead of the highly anticipated fight. It's uncertain if Edgar Berlanga will actually act on his previous bold claims, but one thing is clear. This unfolding drama intensifies the excitement surrounding an already thrilling matchup at Louis Armstrong Stadium in Queens.
These are the facts, bro. Don't let them get you rattled. Dude, you are not fighting me. You are distracted and better get locked in because Canelo's gonna tap that ass this weekend. Good luck and enjoy your first and last pay-per-view experience.
Now, it's time to see how he would respond if the chosen one actually went through with that slap he once promised. However, the more pressing inquiry is, what precisely did Edgar Berlanga say to ignite this intense reaction from De La Hoya? It was last year when Edgar Berlanga took direct aim at Golden Boy promoter Oscar De La Hoya, who had been a vocal critic of the potential matchup between Berlanga and Canelo Alvarez. Guys like Oscar De La Hoya out there trying to destroy my reputation, destroy Canelo's reputation, trying to say that we're not going to sell no tickets, that the PPV numbers, nobody's going to buy, it's not going to hit over 100K. That's stupid stuff, and if I see him, I'll smack the hell out of him, the 23. One boxer said bluntly. Edgar Berlanga, however, didn't stop there. He's just upset that he's already old. He's got a guy like Canelo that's a real Mexican. I know where his hate comes from with him. And with me, he wanted to sign me. He flew from Vegas trying to come out from LA, trying to come down to sign me, and we signed with one of the best, Eddie Hearn. So Oscar, damn you. It's no secret that De La Hoya had been actively pursuing Edgar Berlanga after the fighter parted ways with Top Rank in early 2023, but that deal never materialized.
I've seen some stuff about with the whole like Oscar De La Hoya thing.
I'm glad to go away from him.
Yeah.
'Cause he's crazy.
We're really good friends with Dana White,
Yeah.
and he doesn't like Oscar De La Hoya too. I said.
Oscar De La Hoya has announced he's coming out of retirement to box again.
Cocaine isn't cheap.
I think nobody.
Because he's a vacuum, right?
Every time he's in problems, he don't have any fighters left. Ryan Garcia, because he signed with him. Now Ryan Garcia, I think is in a problem with him.
Edgar Berlanga, who is fighting Canelo on September 14. Now he claims he has a whole country behind him. Edgar, bro, you're from Brooklyn. I think I'm more Puerto Rican than you are, and I only lived there for 6 years. Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro.
Now the tension seems to be boiling over once again. And in response to De La Hoya's posts, Berlanga has already fueled the fire by sharing a bizarre picture of De La Hoya in a penthouse with the caption, "See you in New York, my little stripper?" Could it be a confrontation in New York? A challenge? A public stunt? What do you think? Well, no one knows until it happens. After Oscar De La Hoya fired shots at Edgar Berlanga for claiming to be Puerto Rican, Berlanga fired back at him for how desperate he was to get his signature years ago. He claimed De La Hoya was only being bitter for him, signing for Matchroom instead of Golden Boy Promotions.
Anyway, somebody told you to fight Canelo.
Canelo? Come on, you know, in my prime, I would have just tapped that so good. Easy, quick.
Easy work?
Easy work. He's flat-footed. He walks on quicksand, so anyway.
Oh, hello again. Guess what time it is? Time for your new favorite 5 minutes of the week, Clapback Thursdays. This actually might be my favorite one so far. So it turns out I'm not the only one who thinks Canelo is an arrogant piece of shit. Turkey Al-Sheikh recently revealed that Canelo refused to meet with him in person and isn't entertaining any deals to be done with him. Why? Because he's outpriced himself so much that the Saudis don't even want to deal with him.
Ahead of his fight against Canelo Alvarez, Edgar Berlanga is clearly on a trolling spree, and he kicked off quite well during his pre-fight press conference with Canelo Alvarez. But he has now turned to Oscar De La Hoya, who made several attempts to woo him over to Golden Boy Promotions after the expiration of his contract at Bob Arum's Top Rank. Well, it turns out Edgar Berlanga began trolling Oscar De La Hoya because he fired the first shot. Oscar and Canelo have possibly the most bitter feud in boxing, a feud that almost led to a brawl the last time they met. And while Edgar Berlanga was busy with Canelo Alvarez, he referred to Canelo's history with performance-enhancing medications and how it somehow led to his split with Golden Boy Promotions.
Oscar gotta shut his mouth, man. You know, this is the best in the business. People don't understand, like, Eddie came from the UK. He came from another side of the world. He came to the US and took over, you know what I'm saying? And he's taking it over so rapidly. So, you know, De La Hoya's a crazy guy, man.
Senior, can I ask one question? Plant failed, Munguia failed. Why will your son pass the ultimate test?
We got the power, we got the skill. My son can box, he can punch. My son is a boxer puncher. That's the difference.
Yeah, obviously.
We're not going there to be running from Canelo.
But before this, Oscar De La Hoya had earlier fired shots at Edgar Berlanga for claiming to be Puerto Rican while he barely lived there. However, Berlanga has now insulted De La Hoya for coming at him despite chasing after him crazily last year. Berlanga claimed Oscar De La Hoya was literally mad over him and went as far as leaking their chats.
Said we're gonna fight him.
It's easy to see where he gets his confidence from and his fashion. You, my friend, you come across
I bring my son since he was 70 years on this sport. I run all his career. I built his team, and I know what my skills my son have, and we ready for it. Everybody talking about all them fight. Yeah, I put the opponents so he can last. You know why? Because you got to swim in the deep waters. If you don't learn how to swim in the deep water, and then gonna happen when we get a big fight like this. Those fight that he went into this.
This happened after he had initially tweeted, "Get off my head, Oscar De La Hoya. You were dying to sign me last year and flew in to sit down with me and was on my head. I'ma have a bag of Coke for you, idiot." As for De La Hoya, Berlanga was more keen on making him appear bad after firing shots at him unprovoked, as De La Hoya had earlier wooed him into a Mexico versus Puerto Rico clash against Jaime Munguia.
Oscar De La Hoya works for DAZN, so he's a complete idiot, to be honest with you, because his job is to put on good fights for DAZN, and he hasn't really done that with Jaime Munguia, has he? I mean, it's probably the worst managed career I've ever seen in the history of boxing, Jaime Munguia. His opponent list has been awful, other than Derevenchenko recently, who I know is your friend, but he's also a faded fighter. So what I'll do with Oscar De La Hoya is I'll speak to his bosses.
He didn't only expose the chats, he exposed some of Oscar De La Hoya's public interviews where he had repeatedly called out the undefeated fighter. As at last year, Oscar De La Hoya was determined to add Edgar Berlanga to the Golden Boy Promotions roster. The unbeaten super middleweight hit the free agent market early last year after nearly 4 years spent under the Top Rank banner. The two sides parted ways on amicable terms just 1 month after Berlanga completed a 6-month suspension following a June 11th win over Alexis Angulo, where he was caught attempting to bite his opponent in the 9th round of an eventual unanimous decision victory.
Wait, but all I'm doing is speaking facts. You know, when I'm spitting the truth.
You guys can come.
What else can I say and do? I mean,
You guys.
that was just the truth. I'm not. I actually, yeah, I did want to sign Berlanga, but you know, he went with Eddie Hearn, and good luck to him. But I'm just speaking the facts.
Thank you, Oscar.
All right, brother.
Not soon after Berlanga announced that he was free of any promotional restrictions, De La Hoya began to name-drop the New Yorker during interviews and on social media. The Hall of Fame former 6th Division champ continued his aggressive run even while on site for an open media workout ahead of a Golden Boy show due to air on DAZN this Saturday from YouTube Theater in Inglewood, California. "I want to give a shout out to Berlanga," De La Hoya told host Beto Duran, completely changing the subject after discussing this weekend's show and other upcoming Golden Boy events. "Come talk to us or we'll fly to you."
So one day he's your friend, the next day he want to talk about you. You know what I'm saying? Obviously you seen what happened with Canelo. Yeah, we was talking Canelo, but you seen what happened with Canelo. He signed a 3-fight deal with PBC. So you know he's on another network now. You know, so now I was like, all right, you know what we gonna do? So we got guys like Munguia, guys like Golovkin, guys like.
Berlanga signed with Top Rank in March 2019, 1 month prior to his 10th pro fight. His Top Rank debut came on an April 2019 card at Madison Square Garden in New York City, barely 30 minutes from his Brooklyn home base. Berlanga fought 11 times under the Top Rank banner, a run which included the extension of his streak of 16 consecutive first-round knockouts to begin his career. The explosive run came to an end in April 2021, when Berlanga dropped Demon Nicholson 4 times, but was forced to settle for an 8-round unanimous decision victory. But Oscar De La Hoya seems to have an issue with Berlanga being identified as Puerto Rican for his Canelo Alvarez fight since he was born and raised in Brooklyn.
Berlanga, I called you out for not being Puerto Rican. I simply spoke the facts. So you got embarrassed and posted a 14-year-old photo of me that the world has already seen and memed 1,000,000 times. Bro, why didn't you just post your birth certificate from Puerto Rico? Unless you don't have one. Don't tell.
Ever since Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez separated in 2020, both parties have taken direct and indirect jabs at each other in public. However, now it seems Berlanga has been caught in the crossfire. Edgar Berlanga, he claims he has the whole country Puerto Rico behind him. "Edgar bro, you are from Brooklyn. I think I am more Puerto Rican than you are, and I only lived there for 6 years, Oscar said in the latest edition of his Clapback Thursdays. He continued, "Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro. And as I said weeks ago, this fight will not do well on September 14th. In his clip, Oscar also said, "This one actually may be my favorite so far." So, it turns out that I am not the only one that thinks that Canelo is an arrogant piece of stuff.
I was like John Ryder, you can make happen quickly.
Do you feel like Oscar's being bitter towards you?
Yeah, man. Come on, I had to sit down with him right before, you know what I'm saying, I signed with Eddie. You know, he's a guy, he's just, Twitter finger, man. You know, he just want to just type with his head.
Referencing the collapse of the offer between Crawford and Canelo, Oscar added, "He's outpriced himself so much that the Saudis don't even want to deal with him, and it's all because he will do anything not to fight David Benavidez." Having said that, it seems Oscar De La Hoya has rallied behind his business partner, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, to slam Canelo Alvarez for choosing to fight Edgar Berlanga. As for whether the event will flop because of UFC 306, only time will tell. But for now, it's Oscar De La Hoya versus Edgar Berlanga. However, Edgar Berlanga had earlier fired shots at him some time ago when he misbehaved publicly. Edgar Berlanga could not have felt better about his choice in a new promoter than in the moments that immediately followed one of his major wins.
Tell me you're another lame who is offended by the truth. Come on, bro. In other news, Devin Haney had his comeback fight last week at the Orange County State Fair. I don't know if you've seen the full video, but Devin throws a punch at a civilian all while standing in front of the Ferris wheel.
The unbeaten super middleweight contender was on the search for a new promoter after he parted ways with Top Rank earlier last year. Brooklyn's Berlanga eventually signed with Matchroom Boxing after fielding several offers. Included among the rest of the pack was Golden Boy Promotions, whose co-founder and chairman, Oscar De La Hoya, remains embroiled in a feud with Matchroom head Eddie Hearn. Berlanga had indirectly become a part of that ongoing nonsense. His post-fight interview, following a 12-round points win over Ireland's Jason Quigley, included the suggestion from Berlanga and Hearn about possibly next facing Jaime Munguia in what would be a can't-miss fight, at least to everyone except one of Munguia's promoters.
And he missed! Bro, your dream has officially turned into a nightmare. And as always, the most important topic of every week. Canelo, you.
Oscar De La Hoya tweeted, #Lonesome Eddie. You couldn't deliver Edgar Berlanga to Canelo Alvarez, and now you're throwing Munguia's name, De La Hoya mockingly asked in a tweet moments after the fight. Good luck. Berlanga was made aware of De La Hoya's tweet during his post-fight press conference. Oscar got to shut his mouth, man, Berlanga told BoxingScene.com and other reporters. Eddie's the best in this business. People don't understand. Eddie came from the UK. He came from another side of the world, and he's taken it over. He's taken it over so rapidly. De La Hoya's a crazy guy. One day he's your friend, the next day he want to talk about you. Obviously, you saw what happened with Canelo Alvarez.
Edgar Berlanga, who is fighting Canelo on September 14. Edgar, bro, you're from Brooklyn. I think I'm more Puerto Rican than you are. Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro. And as I said weeks ago, this fight will not do well on September 14. Canelo, you're really making the wrong enemies. But you know what?
The same parties would have been involved in making a Berlanga-Munguia fight, which raises the question as to why De La Hoya would play the troll, rather than envision the bigger picture. I had a sit down with De La Hoya right before I signed with Eddie, noted Berlanga. He's a guy with an itchy Twitter finger. He just want to type off. Just chill, man. Relax. Oscar De La Hoya's name is back in the headlines, though not for reasons he'd prefer. A 6-division world champion during his storied 16-year career, the Golden Boy built a legacy filled with marquee victories over legends like Julio Cesar Chavez, Arturo Gatti, Ike Quarty, and Hector Camacho. It was only after a decisive loss to Manny Pacquiao in 2008 when De La Hoya retired from boxing and turned his focus to the business side of the sport.
Edgar Berlanga, who is fighting Canelo on September 14. Edgar, bro, you're from Brooklyn. I think I'm more Puerto Rican than you are. Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro. And as I said weeks ago, this fight will not do well on September 14. Canelo, you're really making the wrong enemies. But you know what?
Ultimately, under Golden Boy Promotions, he's achieved significant success as a promoter, but not without his fair share of controversy and public spats. His long-standing feud with Canelo Alvarez is well known, and more recently, he's been under fire from Ryan Garcia. Now tensions are rising again, this time with Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga has full confidence in himself heading into July 12th, and he's making sure Turki Alalshik knows that. Berlanga responded to His Excellency after Alalshik posted on social media that he will be upset if Berlanga's opponent, Hamza Shiraz, loses in their bout. The chosen one did not take too kindly and clapped back on X. Alalshik has made it clear that he has big plans for Shiraz after the Berlanga fight, if he were to win. This is not the first time that His Excellency has tried to plan ahead. Berlanga is fighting for the second time this year, scoring a first-round knockout against Jonathan Gonzalez-Ortiz on March 15th. Shiraz is coming off a controversial split draw against WBC middleweight champion Carlos Adams on February 22nd, with many critics giving Adams the fight. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.